Welcome to Crochet Remedy. Crochet is the remedy to just about everything. Here's your dose of crochet from my hook to yours. In this video, I will share one of my favorite crochet dolls of 2026, the Kimberly doll. I'll talk about the yarn, the hook, and my thoughts about the pattern. Also, I'll talk about how I created her glasses. Let's chat more about the doll. This is the yarn that I used to crochet the Kimberly doll. Starting up top, for her hat, I did use Paintbox Cotton DK. I also used Paintbox Cotton DK for her skin tone, and this is in the color Soft Fudge. Her boots are in the color Coffee Bean. For Kimberly's hair, I chose Circulo Amigurumi yarn in the color Dates. For her shirt and socks, I use Yarnspiration's Bernat Softee Baby, and this is in the color Antique White. Now, since this skein is big, I did ball up some of the yarn to make it a little bit easier to work with and to travel with while I was working on the project. For Kimberly's overalls, I chose Lion Brand Coboo yarn, and this is in the color Mauve. All of these yarns are number 3 weight yarns, and they worked really well together. I was really pleased how well they crocheted up nicely. That was one thing I was really worried about, but there was definitely like smooth transitions throughout the project. More about the doll. Say hello to Kimberly. This doll is crocheted from the bottom up, and this is my favorite method to crochet dolls. I'm going to talk about this pattern in the order that it was crocheted. The boots are crocheted first, and I was really surprised this was a first step. I kind of gave a little side eye because the boots are removable and not fixed, and so I was really surprised that it was the first thing that was crocheted. So I told myself, you know what, just trust the process. And so I really liked how the boot crocheted up very nicely. There was some definitely interesting parts in the pattern that really defined the boot, but like overall, like I was really just like blown away, and I loved the style of the boot so much that I crocheted my Leonie doll a pair of these boots in the color Hot Pink. I did lightly stuff the boots with some polyfill, just like right at the toe area to help keep shape. So I really like how this was, how it turned out. Crochet the arms, and I use Paintbox Cotton DK, and then I use this 100% acrylic yarn, and I love how it turned out. The arms were pretty straightforward, nothing complicated, pretty simple, no issues here. Now I did get a little worried. I wasn't sure how the cotton was going to crochet with the acrylic, but as you can see, like this gave really great stitch definition, and it was a nice seamless transition going from cotton to acrylic. Let's talk about the legs. So for this part of the pattern, you start with the socks. So I did use 100% acrylic to crochet the socks. I really like this detail. I think the texture of the acrylic against the cotton, nice detail, and I love the ruffles, such a fun detail. So I'm going to hold this up a little bit. So after the socks, you start working up the leg for several rounds, and then you start to work on the body. And so I did use the acrylic yarn again, and then you get to a part of the pattern where you attach the arms and then start working on the head. Now, this is when I always stop and assess and think about how I want to strengthen the doll's neck, because nobody wants a wobbly doll neck. And so I do want to talk about how I stabilized Kimberly's neck. I've tried different methods in the past. I've done things like using pipe cleaners or chenille sticks. I've used hair curlers and rollers. I even tried the hot glue stick, which was something suggested by Gail from Stitchity Doodle. I've tried rolled up felt. That was a suggestion by Elise from Elise Rose Crochet. Now, using rolled up felt is my favorite method to strengthen the doll's neck, but y'all, I could not find my felt. And I thought I had run out because I had bought so much of it years ago that I was like, well, maybe I used up all my felt. And so I wasn't going to go to the craft store because I know myself, I can't just go to the craft store and buy felt. I'd probably come out spending 50 easily. So I decided just to use what I had at home. And so I chose to use some fabric glue and a hot glue gun stick. And so I worked a few rounds of the head. And then I applied fabric glue to the inside part of her neck. And then I added in some fiberfill, and then I added in the glue stick. And then I added more fabric glue on top. And I let this dry overnight and then continue to crochet the head and stuff firmly along the way. And I think that really helped to stabilize her neck, using the fabric glue for the inside part of her neck, and then even adding fabric glue to like the inside part of her head, I think really helped to make Kimberly a firm doll. She's cute, firm, solid, super cute. Say hello to Swim Time Sammy Bear. This is a pattern designed by Cassandra from Craftably Ever After. I purchased that pattern from her Etsy shop. I did use Paintbox Cotton DK, and this is in the color Soft Fudge. I did use a 2.25 millimeter hook for the entire project. This pattern is work from the bottom up. The arms, the ears, and the muzzle, they are crocheted separately and then sewn onto the body. The instructions for this pattern, they were clear, concise, very easy to follow. There were 30 helpful progress photos. I had a fun time making Swim Time Sammy Bear. For his shorts, I did use cotton and acrylic yarn. And the shorts, they are crocheted separately, and then they are put onto Sammy Bear's body. They are removable, so if I wanted to do like a different color for the fall or for winter, I could do that. For the swim ring, I thought this was such a fun detail. There were 3 options in the pattern. There was a frog, duck, and flamingo, and I chose the frog. It is 4 pieces that are crocheted separately and then attached. So you start with the basic ring, and then the head of the frog is 3 pieces that are attached together. Now I did decide to hot glue the head to the swim rings. The instructions were easy to follow. I did save the embroidery details as a final step. It's always the very last step. And I used a super fine black cotton yarn to embroider the eyes and the muzzle. The finished item was 7 inches. So this is Swim Time Sammy Bear. Such a fun pattern. Highly recommend. In the doll pattern, 63 millimeter doll glasses are listed as optional. The designer stated she purchased the glasses from Etsy, but no shop information was listed. I did go on Etsy, and I got distracted by cute crochet doll patterns and granny square projects and AI slop. But I had to remind myself why I even came to the website. I did search on the site for 63 millimeter doll glasses, but I was unsuccessful, and I found lots of listings for miniature doll glasses that were like way too small. So I decided to make some doll glasses. And so I watched a few YouTube tutorials on how to make doll glasses, and one video in particular suggested floral wire. And so on a recent trip to Walmart, I did purchase some floral wire, and the one that I decided on, it's actually wrapped in thread, and I think it was a really nice detail. I had thought about either like wrapping the glasses with yarn or thread, but I think these green glasses, I think they are cute. They work well, so I'm really happy with how they turned out. I did use a glass Coke bottle to do the shaping, and such a fun detail. I will say, making the glasses was a lot of trial and error. There was lots of twisting and bending, and there were 12 wires in the pack, so I had plenty of opportunities to like mess up and like just experiment. But it only took me 3 tries to do this pair, so I would definitely crochet more doll, or not crochet, or make more doll glasses using this crochet doll pattern. Was well written. It's 18 pages, and the directions are very clear, very detailed. There's good line spacing within the pattern. There's even lots of progress photos. There's 88 photos total. The designer really set up makers for success. This is a beautifully written pattern, and I would definitely crochet this pattern again. I highly recommend this pattern. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. So, which project was your favorite from the video? Comment below and let me know. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!